It ain't nothing but me. Top boss big nations. Yo, passport bro next door. Nations Village. We catching another plane, ain't it, man? Now, how much does a trip to Santo Domingo really cost? In this video, we're going to cover the cost of the flight, the rental car, the Airbnb, food, activities, and emergencies. Yes, sir, emergencies. Emergency fund is very important, especially when you are traveling outside of the country. You need to have money set aside for anything that can happen. And when traveling to a country like Dominican Republic, where cash is king, it's best for that emergency fund to be in cash. All right. So we're going to incorporate the 3 P's with this trip. Anytime I plan a trip, I like to incorporate the 3 P's, and that's planning, preparation, and performance. You need all three to have a great trip. Planning. You want to plan ahead. Always plan ahead for your trip. So you want to book your flight no less than 2 months in advance, and you want to book your Airbnb no less than 2 weeks in advance. All right. And when I book my flight, I just use Google Flights, because Google Flights is going to allow me to put in the dates I want to travel, and they're going to give me several prices for several different airlines. Now, for my price point, I try to stay within no more than $600. So where I fly from, usually it's gonna be either Spirit, JetBlue, or Frontier that I'll use. And with Google Flights, you can track the flight. So some days are gonna be cheaper to fly, especially Wednesday. Like Tuesdays and Wednesdays gonna be cheap days to fly. Once Thursday comes around, that's when they start jacking the price up a little bit. So on my last trip, I got lucky and found a flight for it was around $400. Now that was with Spirit, so it is what it is. All right, so now your Airbnb. Okay, so the price. So we got to say that for your flight, we'll just say $500. All right, these are gonna be just rounded up numbers. You may spend a little less, you may spend a little more. All right, so for the Airbnb, we're talking about a 4-day trip. You're gonna spend anywhere from $300 to $400 for that Airbnb, and that's gonna be any type of Airbnb you want. If you want a hotel, you want an apartment or condo, or like this right here, I'm showing a full house, a full single family home, and it's still gonna be, it was maybe $50 more. This house was maybe $50 more than the condo I had previous. So, all right, we got $500 for the flight, $300 to $400 for the Airbnb. So let's say $400. So we up to $900 right there. All right. So next thing, what we want to do with the 3 Ps, we want to make our preparation. All right. So your preparation is, you want to make sure you're packing the necessities that you need, not just your clothes, but the extras. Before I go, I always take a trip to Wally World, and I stock up on the travel necessities, toothpaste, deodorant, lotion, soap, and I usually buy some face rags and towels. That's one thing you may want to prepare for, because sometimes certain Airbnbs may not have a lot of those items, and then sometimes they may have some items that look a little suspect. So I usually bring my own face rags and towels. So your Wally World hygiene products gonna run you maybe another $30. All right, so that that ain't bad. You got your hygiene out the way. Your flight is booked, your Airbnb is booked, everything looking good. You're getting excited about the trip. So you're gonna start packing a few days before the trip. Because anything could happen. So you don't want to wait till the night before. We're gonna go on and pack this thing up. Make sure make sure we bring a little lightweight windbreaker with us just in case it start raining in Santo Domingo at night. You don't want to get caught. You can't go outside because it's a little too cool for you. Now that's not gonna happen often, but it's best to be caught with it than not have it. So we at $930 so far. All right, so now we on the plane. We done landed in Santo Domingo, SDQ. So you know what we gotta do? We gotta go get that big bad rental. Yep. Nothing but a Jeepeta. That's all I want when I go to Santo Domingo. That's just a small SUV. They call them Jeepetas in the Dominican Republic. It's not nothing you would want to push in the States, but over there it's gonna look real good. You're gonna be real fly in the Geppetto. That big bad rental gonna run you $350 plus another $300 deposit, and you're gonna need either a credit card or a debit card to pull this off. Now that's $1,280. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the grocery store. We're gonna go to the grocery store. We're gonna drop about $200, and then we're gonna get our friends to come over and cook for us. So we may only eat out 2 or 3 times the entire time we're in Santo Domingo because we always gonna prefer that home cooked meal. We're at $1,480 right now. We're not going to include that $300 deposit for the rental car because when we turn that rental car in, we're gonna get that $300 back. So we not counting that 300. We're at $1,480. We got half of everything covered. Now all we got to do is account for our spending money on activities and entertainment and our emergency fund. All right. So let's knock the emergency fund out. We're going to keep $500 with us for our emergency fund. That's going to take care of any medical accidents that happen. If you have an accident in the rental car and you have to come out the pocket, you'll have that. And also, although this has never happened to me, I've heard a few creators that have been in Santo Domingo and they've been pulled over by the police. And as I was saying, in Dominican Republic, cash is king. And hey, I'm not above paying a bribe to get out of a sticky situation if it needs to happen. So that $500 that's gonna cover any type of emergencies we have, and also we're gonna include like our expenses on the way home. So that $500 should take care of all of that, any type of emergency you have, and cover your expenses on the way home. Your snacks, your souvenirs. Every time I leave Santo Domingo airport, I gotta get 4 big bottles of that Brugal so I can have that at home to drink. So the 500 and the 1480, that's $1,980 so far. All right, so now all we gotta cover is our spending money for activities and entertainment. Now, when I go, my spending money is usually anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. And I know what you're thinking. Hey, that's a lot of money to just spend in 4 days. But I'm telling you, man, the movement, the speed of SD, all the stuff that's going on in Santo Domingo, man, you can run through some money pretty quickly. And it's always best to have more money than you need than to be out there and want to do things or want to buy something and you don't have enough, you ain't bring enough money. So $1,000 to $2,000. We'll just say $1,000 for this. $1,000 spending money for 4 days. That's $250 a day. That's, like I said, I do take a little bit more probably than needed, but I say that's a good number. $250 to spend each day. You're gonna pretty much be able to do anything you want to do, and there are plenty of activities there. They have a lot of things to do, so hey, you might as well take advantage while you're there. So $1,000 to spend for entertainment and activities, that's gonna put us at a grand total of $2,980. That's for a 4-day trip to our favorite place on earth, Santo Domingo, Republica Dominicana. That's where we always want to be, ain't it, Nation's Village? So there you have it, man. That's how much it's going to cost us to go to Santo Domingo for 4 days. And in the next couple of videos, we'll break down some other things like money exchange, how when to exchange your money, where to exchange your money, and different things like that. So for now, Nations Village, we're going to sign off and we're going to leave you with a few sights and sounds of Santo Domingo. Yes, sir. All right, y'all. Here we go. Nations Village. Y'all with Top Boss. And we out here in the streets. Let's check it out. It's gonna be a mission just not to get hit crossing this mud, because the traffic don't be playing.